Welcome back to A Book Binger. My name's Shelby, and I am a girl who is binging a new book each week instead of binging Netflix. Let's get started on this week's book. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast, with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello, fellow book lovers. Another week, another book recommendation. This week, Mia, a friend I met while living in Meridian, Idaho, suggested the book The Hollywood Dropout by Carrie Case. Now here's a little teaser for you guys. Brielle loves acting. At least, she loves it as much as one can while still entertaining a deathly fear of auditions. But when her quaint high school is chosen as the location for an upcoming Hollywood film, she has to face her fears for a chance to be on screen beside Joel Blanca, the same Joel Blanca she's been in love with for as long as she can remember. Now, here I'm going to introduce Mia, and we're going to talk about why she liked this book and why she recommended it. Hey, Mia, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing so good. How are you?
I am good, and I am so excited to have you on this week's podcast.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Like I said before, I was so honored. I know that sounds weird, but I was honored when you were reached out to me over Facebook and you just said, I have been listening to your podcast. I turned to my husband and I about cried because that was the sweetest thing that I have gotten.
Oh, I'm so happy. I wanted to, support you and tell you that I was supporting you so you weren't just thinking that no one was listening, because I love it. It is so fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad. And yes, I needed that boost because sometimes I think that my family is the only one that listens to this.
I'm sure it's really hard to start out, but no, I definitely love it so much. I look forward to it every week.
Oh, that makes my heart so happy. All right, so we'll just jump in then for this week's read. So I introduced it previously, and my biggest question to you was, how did you find this book?
I loved this book. It makes my heart happy. And the reason why is because it's just so clean and fun. It's so hard to find books these days that are fun and a quick read, but also clean 100%
Yes.
all the way through the book. And that's what I really loved about it.
Yeah, that was something that I noticed too. And I too really appreciate that. That gets to be too much, and then, or just really dark and evil stuff.
Even just the swear words are just out of control in some books.
Yes.
It's gotten to the point where I am doing what my mom used to do this at the library. I would pick out books and she would say, hand them over. And she would flip through really fast and look for swear words. And
I love that.
I do that now because I'm I just don't need that. It doesn't make the book any better. So I just really love that about this book, that there's none of it.
Oh, Mia, you're speaking my language. I seriously, I talk to my husband about this all the time, but I can't stand when there are swear words that are every other word. And
yes,
it doesn't make the story better. It honestly just makes it worse if there are way more swear words.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, so that was a really good point on this one because I noticed that right off the bat and I loved that.
Actually, I I don't know the author, but her dad was actually my religion teacher at Ensign College in Salt Lake.
Oh, way
And
cool.
that's actually how I found the book, is he posted about it on Facebook, and I went immediately to Amazon and read about it and was like, "Oh my gosh, this sounds right up my alley." So I bought it, and so I think the big reason why there's not swear words or sex or anything really like gross at all in this book is because she is a member of the church.
Yeah.
I started following her on Facebook once I, read the book, and she likes to write, but she also likes to act a little bit. And
Oh,
like I said, I don't know her personally, but that kind of makes the book even more cool because she's like speaking from experience, which is why she knows so much about the behind the scenes of making a movie, which is really cool.
like that they don't
Yeah,
shoot movies in sequence. I knew that
right.
much.
But that's like
But
it.
yeah, exactly. That was the extent of my knowledge. So that makes a lot more sense. I thought maybe she just read up a lot about it, but that's really cool that
Was
she
really
put,
good at her research.
yeah, yeah, but that's a really cool that she put that her own knowledge into that. So from here on out, I kind of want to get more into depth. So if you guys haven't read the book yet, I recommend going. I found mine on Kindle Unlimited, and Mia said that she bought hers on Amazon. So I would recommend going to Amazon and either getting the sample because that's super easy to get, or just going ahead and getting the book if you guys haven't yet. But from here on out, me and I were going to kind of talk more in depth and about the characters and even maybe some more like actual spoilers. Who is the character you connected with the most?
So honestly, the main character Brielle, and the reason why, there's a couple of things. One is that I was always the one where I always wanted to do like all the things, and even if I was good at it or had done it previously, lots of times I was too scared to do it again, or like my anxiety just got too high and I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And she's too scared to try out again after she fails her audition for Cinderella. Um, and it takes Link almost like tricking her into auditioning for her to actually go out and do this thing that she loves and she has loved previously. And so that was one of the reasons why, because I definitely, whenever I wanted to do something, needed that outside push from someone.
Yeah.
And the other one is when she is talking about contract and like how much money she's gonna get. And it definitely gives like a whole, like a glimpse into her whole personality when she's like, "Oh, I'm getting $2,000 a week. That is a crazy amount of nachos." Or
Yeah.
oh no, she's talking about going to Switzerland, and she's like, "If I spent 4,000 on flights, hotels, and food, then I could spend the other 12,000 on chocolate."
Yeah, seriously. But she does then go back and talk about how much nachos it would be too, because she thinks about her
Yes,
friends and how much they would spend on it. And I thought that was hilarious.
yeah. And that's another thing, is when her friends are like, "Oh, we have this party to go to and it's on a Wednesday." And she's like, "Oh, but that's nacho night." It's like,
Yeah,
because I'm very traditional, and like, if we have a tradition, you have to stick with it. Tonight is nacho
seriously.
night. There's no deviating.
You can't switch it up on me now.
Yes,
Those are really good points.
exactly.
I love that. And also, like, how cute is it that she has that, teenage crush? I forget about that sometimes and how we're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll do anything, even if I don't like it, just because you're going to be there.
Yeah, yeah. It
Oh,
is so funny. After being married, you forget about that kind of stuff sometimes.
yeah. Just how star-crossed you were. And even though
Yeah.
you know that you really hate that stuff. You're like, it's okay.
Yeah. She says in the beginning of the book, another Brielliant moment brought to you by Brielle. I love that. It's like,
Seriously.
oh man, it only talks about a few embarrassing moments in the book, but that makes it sound like she has so many all the time.
It's another really good insight on what it is like to be a teenager. She did a
Yes.
really good job about that. You know, sometimes in movies or TV shows, they like exaggerate teenagers. She did a really good job.
Yeah, she did. She did. And another thing that uh kind of connected me with her is when, she has this super embarrassing moment, and of course it's with her celebrity crush. And
Yes.
then she lands this role with her celebrity crush, and she's just like, "Oh, please don't remember me. Oh, please don't remember me." Because, all the time you're like, "Oh, please remember me." You want people to remember you, and then
Yeah.
this time you're like, "Please don't." I've had embarrassing moments, like, not that bad, but embarrassing moments where I'm like, please don't remember me. And of course, they end up remembering me. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Right?
Yep,
Seriously.
that was me.
So glad you remembered that part. Oh, but yes, I definitely felt her pain. Oh my gosh. And that's like the first part of the book, which is just hilarious.
I know. And it's so hard because, it's not a movie. You can't avert your eyes. You have to just suffer through the embarrassment.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I am so glad you brought that up because it's true. Oh, I think about that all the time. And especially as I was reading this, because, we've gone through our teenage years, we've gone through these embarrassing moments. I just
Yeah.
kept going back to those feelings and I would have to close my eyes for a little bit because I remembered those feelings again. Oh,
Yes. Like when the big one for me is when she gets recorded doing her impression of Angel and saying that everyone in the town is untalented. It just makes me cringe and like want to bury my face in the book because I'm just like,
yeah.
oh, that sucks.
Yes. I usually don't put my book down to gather myself, but that one I did have to stop reading for a few minutes because I knew deep down she didn't mean it. And then
Yes,
to have that posted, I just couldn't. Oh, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't do it.
I know. It's just like cringeworthy because you're like, oh, she didn't mean it. She was just trying to fit in and joke. And yes, it's bad. She shouldn't have done it in the first place, like she says.
Yeah.
But it's still like, oh, that sucks so bad.
Seriously. Oh, man, I'm getting all the feels again now.
I know.
Okay, well, and speaking of these characters, did you root for Brielle and Joel?
Okay, actually, in the beginning, I definitely did because I was like, oh my gosh, it's her celebrity crush, and he's gonna, like, even though Link is like, he's bad news, it's just because he's, big Hollywood, but he's actually
Right.
gonna turn out to be this nice, sweet guy, and they're gonna fall in love, and everything's gonna be great. Not so. But I did,
I
I did root for them in the beginning.
Yeah, and then when they go to the hospital together and he just like pulls out all the guns and he's like, "Ooh, I'll call your mom for you. I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to yell at this guy for you." You're like, "Okay."
Yeah, he's like kind of flirty and he's making fun of her because she wants ginger ale.
Yes, the way he
And he's
described that.
like, of all the drinks in the world, why would you choose ginger ale? It's like the salad of soft drinks.
Oh my gosh, that killed me. I was like, "What?" The salad of soft drinks? Like who comes up with that? It was so
Yeah.
perfect.
I'm pretty
Oh.
sure I actually laughed out loud at that line.
And then when she says, "What the hummus?" Like, oh my
Oh
gosh,
my
I
gosh, I love that
I
every
had
time.
to reread it because I wasn't sure if I read it right. I was like, "Did she just say what the hummus?" Oh.
That just adds to the funness of the book. I just love it. I think the book would not be this.
Yes, because like we all know that there are different phrases for these cuss words, but no one says what the hummus. It was just so out there and hilarious. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Duh. This is a question that I've wanted to ask. What was the best part of the book for you?
One of my favorite parts is the more serious part when she is on the live television show and she stands up for Angel. And
Yeah.
then later, when her dad shows her on the news that like all of these people are standing up, I love, love, love that there were not like repercussions for her doing that because
Yeah.
I was so afraid that she was gonna, like, all these bad things were gonna happen because she decided to do what was right and stand up for Angel and all these other girls. And I think that's, the fear that, um, Brielle had to conquer in order to say those things, like on live television. She knew that, this could be career ending, life ending information, but she did it anyways. And I just love that it worked out well. And I think that was really smart on the author's part because, if she had shown that there are repercussions for speaking out about something like that, that would
Oh
not
gosh.
have gone well.
No. I feel like that was a really
Yeah,
good call on her end to put that in the book too.
definitely. And it made me so mad that Joel, who,
Oh,
was so
yeah.
great in the beginning, and then, she gets the phone call and he's like, "We're not dating." It's like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? You took her out on a date and kissed her and you're not dating.
Oh yeah.
And then on top of that, then he's like, these things happened. Like he knew that it had happened to Zalia and then didn't do anything about it.
One of those Hollywood jerks who just do it to get the publicity, like he said. He just follows what his publisher wants. And
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of where I started to feel like Joel wasn't who he was cut out to be, really.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and so that's when I mean, not that I kind of from the beginning didn't really root for him because there was Link. I was like, you know what? He's her best friend. There still has to be something, even though he laughed at her when she said that she liked him a few years back. She just needs to stick with him and not kick him to the curb.
Right.
Because that was so cute when he wrote on her cast the
Yeah,
phrase
what
that
she
she
had
said to
said.
him. Yes.
Yeah. It was so
And
great.
then when she was like, "Oh, that must be Joel," I was like, "You idiot! It's not
I
Joel.
know.
Come on, you're
I was
smarter
like,
than that."
he was probably the idiot who actually just signed his name and didn't
Yeah.
say anything. Or it's like a get better
Yeah.
from Joel.
Right. From Joel Blanca.
Yeah. Just
Oh
like
my
a
gosh.
2-word, 1 line kind of thing.
Seriously. Okay, and I loved that her friends always brought over food.
I
Like,
know. Their friendship all revolves around food, and it's so great because that is so realistic.
seriously. Are you okay? I'm bringing ice cream. Yeah, that
Yes.
sounds good.
You want to hang out? Let's go get nachos. Like, that's
Yes.
so true.
Yeah, she did such a good job at getting into the teenage vibe. Like it brought back so
Definitely.
many memories and you really felt like she understood what these teenagers were feeling, which was really cool because sometimes you can tell when authors try really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Or you're like, I don't think teenagers actually act that way.
Right.
But this one, it was like, yep, that tracks.
Yep. Yep. 100%.
Oh, which reminds me, the other scene that I really, really like is when she's told to go sit in the trailer for her break and ends up in Joel Blanca's trailer
Oh
instead
my
of the break
gosh.
trailer. he walks in, he's like, what are you doing?
Seriously, she's like,
She's
I'm just
like,
watching TV.
he told me to come in here. And he's like, oh yeah, the trailer next door that says break on it, that's the break trailer. That would be me. That would so be me.
She's just snooping around, looking in his room, the bathroom. She's like, okay.
Yeah, she's like, this is a nice trailer. This is good. I like this for break.
Yeah, that was definitely
That would be
another
me.
cringe moment.
Totally oblivious. Yeah, and then she can't even get around him to get out the door because the trailer's so small.
Yeah, I know I've said this so many times, but I think with this book specifically, I was just really impressed at how well she got into the characters and to describe their feelings. I really appreciate that when books have that because, like I said, sometimes authors try too hard at expressing what these characters are feeling by going into like elaborate vocabulary.
Yeah. Yes.
They
I do
use
know.
all these really big words and they use a lot of them. And all
Yeah.
they have to say is, yep, I went to my crush's trailer on accident, and you can just feel that.
Yes.
Well, do you have anything else that you want to say about the book?
Oh man. Oh, I don't know. Just go read it. It's so great.
It was. And like you said, it was super easy. I think I read it in one sitting. Wait, I mean, that doesn't really mean much though, because I read a lot of books in one sitting because I'm a really fast reader. But it was easy. It was good. It was fun. I didn't feel like I had to like reread a whole lot and try to understand what she was saying. I really appreciated that it was clean because, like we talked about, there's not a lot of books like that and they're hard to come by. So that was
Right.
something I super appreciated about her. It's something I can even recommend to like my sister and her friends. This is
Yeah.
perfect book for her. It was a good one. Thanks so much for recommending it.
You're so welcome.
Yes.
And I'm glad that I could come on here and talk about it because this book just came out like this year. And so, it's not like even in the library or anything yet. So like anyone
Yeah.
that like I told my mom, like, you need to buy it and read it, or you can borrow my copy, just read it. I want to talk to somebody about it.
Yes. Yeah. When I tried to look it up at the library, I couldn't find it. So I was super grateful that it was on Kindle Unlimited, which is great because anyone who doesn't have Kindle Unlimited, it's a monthly subscription and you get all of these really great books. And so that also then contributes to the authors themselves. So it's such a great opportunity. And yes, like we talked about, it's on Amazon for easy access. The Hollywood Dropout by Kiri Case. And if you have any other questions for me or Mia, you can send in a voice message or you can just go ahead and direct message me and we can answer those questions. And again, Mia, I am so happy that I was able to get you on here and we can talk about this and we can share this book with other people because it's definitely worth a read.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun.
It was fun. We'll definitely have to do it again. So keep thinking about more books that you want to
I
recommend.
will, for sure. Books are my life. I'm sure I have more to recommend you.
Thanks for listening to this week's book binging episode. Stay tuned for next week when we will be hearing from Michaela and her book recommendation, The Last Unicorn. Thanks so much, guys, for being a part of this. I'm just a girl binging books instead of Netflix. See you guys next time.